back to back. And we ended up with another W. And we didn't really go far. We just went from Detroit, and it was probably, I would want to say, like maybe like an 30 minutes to an hour drive to Toronto. And the Clippers got a beautiful W against the Raptors. This was just pure good basketball. We weren't really making much mistakes. Turnovers weren't too bad. And it was just really good basketball. We were hitting our shots. We were playing good defense. Kawhi Leonard, he returned. Of course, he's pretty much in cruise control right now. And it's all cool because playoff time, that's when he always turns up. And boy, this is just getting better and better and better. Now the Clippers, they had a lot of sluggish moments within the first month in October and November, but I recall Batum saying something like, I would want to say, we're gonna get things figured out after after Christmas. And people went crazy. People were saying like, "Oh man, we can't wait for Christmas, man. We got to do it now, 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 now." But people don't realize this is just literally like, I would want to say, like, not even a full complete third month. It's honestly the second month because when the NBA season started, it was like the last week of October. Then you got November, and then yeah, I would just want to say like this is just the second month of the NBA, which is teams they're still trying to solidify. So of course people they go crazy about, oh, how are the Jazz so good? How are the Spurs so good? But in reality, it's just the first 2-3 weeks. Like pretty much, um, you can't really determine who's legit or not until like, I want to say probably like February. That's when the whole entire NBA starts to really solidify, because now it's pretty much like in the middle of the season, and Clippers they're gelling pretty well, and like I said, it's a really good basketball right now, and sometimes you just gotta be patient. A lot of times, I know a lot of the losses gets pretty frustrating, and I was pretty frustrated too when we lost against Philly because man, we cannot blow leads like that. But after that Philly loss, the Clippers, they just took that with them against the Pistons. They blew the lead again, but they came back. So, pretty much, this is the every single year I notice about the Clippers, at least since I want to say 2021. Um, there's always a game that has a turning point. I believe that the 2020 to 21 season when Terrence Mann made a 39-point comeback. I believe the turning point was when we came back against Atlanta. That's when our momentum started rolling like smooth like a sailboat. And then 21 and 22, which is last season, our somewhat of a turning point was when we came back 35 points down with the Wizards. Of course, we came out short, but you got to consider Paul George got the quote-unquote COVID-19, or did he really get it? I don't know. Or was it rigged? But anyways, so yeah, like the Pistons is like the Clippers is like this year version of the Washington Wizards, because it's just another crazy comeback. But enough of me rambling. Let's get into the game. So let's first talk about the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors, they are a really wishy-washy team right now. They're not doing as good as a lot of people would anticipate, including myself too, because they got Siakam and all their squads. But man, so Pascal Siakam, of course, he did amazing. 36 points. He did not even hit a three, but 36 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. But that boy went to the free throw a lot of times. But it's still pretty good because minus all the free throws, he would still have 26 points. Um, he got a lot of rebounds too. His playmaking is pretty versatile. Pascal Siakam, he's a really good all-around player. I feel his game is a little bit overshadowed. People go crazy over Nikola Jokic being this all-around player, which is nothing wrong with that. Jokic deserves his props. He's a really phenomenal, unique, very skilled big, even though I would bash him a lot of times just because I'm salty about the bubble series, but he's a great player overall. But I feel like Siakam needs some love for being a good all around player too, because that man he would occasionally get triple doubles and very versatile player. He's a very good defender and all that. He's just very good power forward and really versatile. And apparently they use Hernan Gomez as the center. He was pretty much a treadmill. He didn't really do anything. He didn't score any points. He only got 1 rebound. He did get an assist, but he didn't do anything for this game at least. I don't know how well he does in the other games. I'm actually surprised they went with him instead of Christian Coloco. I heard Coloco started a lot of games. I heard mixed reviews about him. I hear some people say he's an energetic, solid big. Other people are like, I don't know, frustrated about him. I don't know. It's interesting. But then you got Anunoby. Man, they played heavy minutes. 44 minutes, 41 minutes. They had got no rest. Anunoby, 18 points, 2 for 3, 5 rebounds. Did solid in general. Um, he's a really good two-way player for the Raptors. All I could really say. Scotty Barnes, 8 for 15, 17 points, 12 rebounds, and 8 assists. So Scotty Barnes is one really interesting player. He had a lot of bad games, but I feel like his upside is definitely there. Evan Mobley or Scotty Barnes, man, that comparison is really interesting. Who y'all taking? I would say Mobley for now because he's more consistent. He's less prone of having bad games because Scotty Barnes he would occasionally just end up with, I don't know, 4 points, 6 points, something like that. But I mean, but he does bring defense and he has a really unique size and he can dime as well too. He's like, I don't know, he's pretty much what Ben Simmons was supposed to be. But Simmons, I don't know what's happening with Simmons. I heard he had some good games, and I believe the last game I want to say he did lock up Mitchell. At least supposedly he did, but a lot of games Simmons just disappeared. While Barnes he had more good games, but nevertheless he's definitely a really bright young player that people are hyping up about, and I'm not really against it. And supposedly, people are going hard on the Raptors for not wanting to trade Scotty Barnes for Kevin Durant, which is okay. Obviously, like even if Kevin Durant is like pretty much a galaxy ahead of Scotty Barnes, but even if that's the case, even if Scotty Barnes like does not become as good as Kevin Durant or not better than Kevin Durant, like even if Scotty Barnes is not good as Kevin Durant, it's still the right move to not trade Scotty Barnes for Kevin Durant because Kevin Durant, he's 33, 34 years old, which is, you're pretty much only going to have, I want to say, to be generous, let's be generous, 4 years at most in his tank. While Scotty Barnes, he's your young, homegrown player. He's your ultimate glue guy on your team. He can grab boards. He can play really good defense. And yeah, he may not have a good scoring night every single game, but he's 20 years old, and he's definitely going to be in the league at least for, I want to say, a decade for sure. So, which one you're really going to take? Because if you just, flipping for Kevin Durant, Scotty Barnes could just easily become a star for the Brooklyn Nets. And then for the Raptors, yes, they get Kevin Durant. Yes, they get title aspirations. Maybe they win 1 or 2 rings. But then what's going to happen after that? You're not going to have a team after. Then you're probably going to be in a lottery, just pretty much benefiting the Nets, and you're going to give them all the top prospects. So that's why Masai Ujiri, he's a pretty smart guy. He does not fall with the star hunting type thing. So that's just my point of view. So let me know what you think about that as well too. But man, I'll be talking a little too long right now. So now, Fred VanVleet. Fred VanVleet, man, he's been having a lot of slumps. I'm not gonna lie to you. That guy, he only had 4 points. He got 7 assists, so I guess that's good. But 2 rebounds, 1 steal. So pretty much, he's pretty much on a downhill for the moment. And Thaddeus Young, he got 10 minutes, 4 points. He did, I guess, solid for a 10-minute run. Boucher, Birch, they were pretty much on the treadmill as well too. They didn't, they didn't really do much on the stat sheets. Well, Boucher got some rebounds. I'm also a little bit surprised they didn't play him much minutes because I would remember watching a little bit of the Raptors games, especially when we played them. Boucher would tend to bring the energy. He just has that he just has that really good motor. A little bit surprised he didn't play much minutes, but hey, probably is a good thing. And Koloko, yep, he got uh, 4 points. He went to the line, didn't play much minutes, so hard to really tell. Malachi Flynn and Gary Trent Jr. both really solid players. They definitely brought the spark for the offense. Defense, wasn't really noticeable. It's like, average. But now let's get to the Clippers. Man, the myth, the legend, Kawhi Leonard. He's on cruise control right now. So pretty much the stats is gonna look like a role player, but that doesn't matter because when he plays basketball, he still plays like a superstar. It's just the stat sheet does not look too pretty, but pretty much Kawhi, he's just good all around. Simple as that. 15 points, like I said, doesn't look too appetizing, but that doesn't matter. But what looks really appetizing is 7 rebounds and 8 assists, especially the assist. I always be telling y'all, Kawhi Leonard is the most underrated playmaker in the NBA. Honestly, he's the most underrated all-around player. He doesn't get the all-around love compared to LeBron or 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 Luka or whoever they really hype up. Because Kawhi, he can play make if you really want him to. He could be like Kawhi if you really try to make him a point guard. You could make him at point guard because he's good enough to dribble the ball. He's good at making really good decisions when he passes the ball, and he's just a really smart player in general. So, not saying we should exactly run Kawhi at point guard. Obviously, you got guys like Reggie Jackson. He has he could maybe bring a faster pace, but Kawhi is just pretty darn smart with his decisions, and uh, he's just a high IQ basketball player. Simple as that. Marcus Morris, he did solid. 10 points, 3 for 7, 2 for 6, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. That's a little high for Marcus Morris, that's good. 3 assists, keep it that way. And he got 1 steal, so he did solid. Nothing too significant. Zubac. Zubac finally, he stepped it up. 23 points, 16 boards. Crazy. So he pretty much had 39 points for his double-double, and he got 1 assist. That's just amazing. His Butterfinger pretty much dwindled in this game. He played like a really good big man. He definitely did this thing on defense too. This is the Zubac we love, and it's just amazing. Reggie Jackson, he's a walking bucket. Mr. June, 20 points, 2 for 6, three assists, 1 rebound. He did his thing, and this is pretty much more of an all-around game too. It's not like, oh, the superstars did their thing and the role players, they just did role players. No, everybody was a star, to be honest with you. And Paul George, good old 23 points, 7 boards, 5 assists, 5 for 9, pretty efficient. Man, everybody was an all-star. It was Paul George, Reggie Jackson, Zubac, Kawhi, and then you got Nick Batum at the bench. Batum is another player whose stat sheet is not too crazy, but he gets the rebounds and he plays that defense, and he's finally hitting his corner three, getting into rhythm. And then you got Norman Powell, 22 points, 8 for 14. He's pretty much how we wanted Lou Williams to be. Lou Will, I love that guy to death, but Lou Will, when he's off, he would be pretty, I don't know, he'll be questionable on defense. But with Norman Powell, he's more of a consistent player, and he plays that solid defense, and he's just more consistent. He's more like a safer option. Imagine if we had Norman Powell instead of Lou Williams, and instead of Montrez, we have Nick Batum, or instead of Jermichael Green, we have Nick Batum, and then we got Kennard versus the Nuggets bubble squad. We would definitely won that. Of course, that is if Doc Rivers is not the coach. But man, it's a beautiful all-around game. Simple as that. Terrence Mann, he didn't play much minutes, but I mean, it's a little weird that he didn't get much minutes, but he didn't really do too much, obviously, because the minutes wasn't really much, but doesn't matter because we got that W. Luke Kennard, dang, so, like it's a quiet night for him, but I mean, hey, when everyone else is cooking, it doesn't really matter too much because it just feels good to get the W. But Kennard, his shots was not falling in, but it's all good when everyone else is cooking. He got 3 rebounds, which is still pretty good for a guy like Luke Kennard, and you can see his plus minus. He definitely makes the smarter plays. Amir Coffey, he of course he only got 1 minute, but this is just beautiful basketball. And look at the turnovers; it's not even double digit. That is amazing. If we could keep our turnovers, like, let's just say no more than 10, this would definitely be really helpful. Really, really, really good basketball. So, and then one last thing I want to point out is check out the standings. We're getting closer to the 3rd seed, so the Grizzlies, ironically, they're going to play against the Toronto Raptors. So hopefully Siakam, please go off against the Grizzlies. Hopefully the Grizzlies will lose some more games. And the Clippers, do your part. Beat the Celtics, beat the Pacers, which I believe we're going to go undefeated for our Christmas to New Year's stretch. Because the Celtics, they had a really good game against the Rockets and the Bucks. So I believe the Clippers, they're pretty much going to be the team that ruins the Celtics runs. Celtics, they're a really great team, and their play style is pretty much like us, except less of the sloppy basketball, less of the turnovers and all that. But nevertheless, December 29th is just going to be exciting. And if we can keep the turnover under 10, and of course, if we can keep the offense going, I'm confident we're beating the Celtics. And also, Kawhi, of course, he didn't go too crazy with the stat sheets as well, too. So who knows? He might be dropping 26 next game. But hopefully, we still play the same beautiful basketball throughout every single game in general. And pretty much, man, I don't really know what else to say, but hey, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll definitely get with y'all in the comment sections. As y'all know, um, Merry late Christmas once again, and Happy early New Year.